爆炸! Hey guys, what's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do an album review. It's raining so hard outside. I'm going to do an album review on the latest Serrini album, Gwendolyn. Serrini is an indie pop singer-songwriter from Hong Kong, my home. I'm in it right now. Oh my god. And her real name is Leung Ga-yan. And a little time ago, I got recommended a song on YouTube called 有尖黃金毛令, and it is a very beautiful, genuine, authentic piano ballad with very soulful, soft vocals, and I'm pretty interested in Serrini's work after listening to the song. I thought she might actually be one of the most promising artists of our generation, and so a couple months ago I actually planned to review an old Serrini album for June, but turns out Serrini is dropping a new album, and that is Gwendolyn. This is her new album, Gwendolyn. And while I really love the song 有尖黃金毛令, which is it's kind of difficult for me to explain the song title. 有尖黃 is basically a colloquial name for 3 different districts in Hong Kong, and 金毛令 is like a slang for a blonde girl, and usually blonde girls in these 3 districts are very MK, which means they are more rebellious, naughty, they like smoking cigarettes, tattoos, piercings, that. And it's a very beautiful piano ballad, which makes it even more interesting of a song. But anyways, after listening to 有尖黃金毛令, I was genuinely interested in Serrini's work. I thought that she's way, leagues, miles better than tons of mainstream Hong Kong pop music, like 周柏豪 or 陳柏宇 or whatever, or even rock bands like Supper Moment or Dear Jane. They pump out some of the blandest, most frustrating, most redundant, most annoying, most rigid, most insipid music that I could ever possibly imagine. But we have people like Serrini and also bands like My Little Airport who are lesser known, but they actually come out with competent music with actually good, creative, fresh production, and also interesting vocals and lyrics as well. That being said though, even though I think Serrini's music feels modernized, it's flavored, and it is even comparable to some of the best mainstream pop stuff around the world right now, her latest album is still meh. Honestly, even though her music is already 10 times better than a lot of her contemporaries, unfortunately, comparing to the rest of the world, it's still nowhere near as good, unfortunately. So we have the album opener Liu Yun, which basically means burning field, and it is a really dramatic, spacey opening. And what I like about the song is that a lot of the songs, including this one, are essentially love songs, but the way Serrini wrote the lyrics make it so dramatic, it almost reaches a biblical point, and I really appreciate that. But instrumental wise, this track is so spacey, it's so dramatic, yet it doesn't reach anywhere. It doesn't reach a climax, it doesn't reach a low point, it just stays the same throughout the whole 4 minutes of the track. It does not have any change or progression whatsoever. And also, one of the reasons why I don't think this album is all that great is because Serrini clearly wears her influences on her sleeves. There are tons of songs on this album that sound really modern, but partially the reason for that is because she makes music which are heavily inspired. And in this case, I think that this album opener, Liu Yun, sounds like something that Grimes would have made, especially for her latest album. So yeah, overall, a pretty rigid and kind of disappointing album opening. And then we have the single 網絡安全隱患, or internet safety, and I guess, the hidden hidden faults of internet safety. And it is a very dramatic tongue-in-cheek song with constantly buzzing keyboards, finger snaps, and it sounds like it could have been a song off of like a 90s action film. However, once again, Serrini wears her influences on her sleeves. This song literally sounds like something that Lady Gaga would have written. And again, her vocals are really soft, and I really like that. So when it is paired with these really rigid and hard synths and keyboards, it just completely buries her vocals, and her vocals almost disappears from this song. And then we have the third track,越活越惹禍, which basically means that the more I live, the more trouble I get. And this is probably the most annoying song on the entire friggin' album. The squawky synths on this track, the kind of mid-pace beat of this song, and the sort of 80s funk soul chorus of this track sound good on paper, except when it is executed, it sounds incredibly awkward. And once again, the squawking synths are really annoying. And when it is played against Serrini's soft, tender vocals, it just completely buries her vocals. Her vocals pretty much disappear from the track. And then we have the track 累云, which basically means leaving the field, and this is one of the moments on the album where this song is not a love song. We have more personal lyrics, which I really appreciate, and essentially this is another really dramatic piano ballad with a really low-key beat and simple hand claps kind of beat. And while, yes, piano ballads from Serrini are generally pretty damn good, but this one just feels bland. This one just feels very derivative at the same time. It sounds like something that Lady Gaga would have written for Billie Eilish or for Lorde or something. However, the last half of the album is way better than the first half, in my opinion. We have the track 旋轉 with me, which means spin with me. Spin. Living in Spain without the A. And this track has a nice low-key production, but incredibly groovy beats. The keyboards are really robust and fresh and bright. We get a light trap beat on this track, and the hook is really catchy. The chorus and the verses are built up really well together, and it is genuinely a fantastic song. Even though it's still not one of the greatest pop songs of all times or anything like that, it is still very damn good. And then we have the track 要做更壞的事, which basically means needing to do something naughty. It literally means needing to do something worse, but in this context it means like naughty, like morally bankrupt. And this is a stripped back ballad, and occasionally we have these 80s synths in this track here and there. One thing I dislike about this track is that it is completely drenched in reverb. The vocals, the synths, everything is just completely encompassed with echoey reverb, and it's so drenched, I can't enjoy it. And then we have the track 繼續玩, which means continue to play or continue playing, and it is an intimate 90s R&B track. And that being said, it pretty much suffers the same problem some other tracks on this album suffers, and that is it does not change at all. The song literally sounds the same throughout the entire duration of itself, and it has no dynamic, no progression, no change. And then we have the track 長期浪漫, which means long-term romance, and it is another highlight on the album in my opinion. It is a very laid-back, keyboard-driven song, but I really love the dreamy and almost childish chord progressions. It has a really danceable, slow disco beat, and the instrumentals are a little softer, and it pairs with Serrini's vocals really well. Her vocals really shine on this track, especially towards the end. And then we have the track I'm Fine, Thanks, which is an 80s revivalist track. And yes, I know, it's the year 2021, and there are already tons of artists out there like, Dua Lipa, Miley Cyrus, and a bunch of other people, The Weeknd, and they have been dabbling into 80s styled music already. Another 80s revivalist song would be too much for the world to handle, I know, but still, this song, it's competently written, competently sung and performed, and I actually really like it. I like the groovy, catchy flavors of this track, and even though this track is 80s revivalist, it still has modern flavored production, which I really love. The verses are really cheeky and fun. There's a tiny pre-chorus building up to a chorus, which is a total blast. It is funky, it is fresh, and once again, very playful, very fun. I really love this song. And then the album ends off with I'd Like a Drink, which is a quiet piano ballad, and it starts off really strong. Whenever Serrini writes a piano ballad, it's usually pretty damn good. However, in the second half of this song, we get these really dramatic swooshes and keyboards just blasting, and it just kind of ruins the song. If the song is just a simple, honest piano ballad, it would have been a fantastic ending to the album, but no, we have to have these dramatic keyboards and explosions, and it just kinda dumbs this song down. But still, comparing this album to many other mainstream pop albums that came out in Hong Kong, this has got to be one of the better ones, and I think that if there is someone out there like Serrini who's making such fresh and competent pop music, I hope that there is hope for the music industry of Hong Kong, because I'm going to be honest here, I've tried my very best trying to find great artists and great albums from the music industry of Hong Kong, but they are so rare, they're so few and far between. It is an understatement to say that the music industry of Hong Kong is pretty much fucked in the ass. So, yeah, I really hope that Serrini comes out with a more interesting album in the future. I hope she develops her style even more, and I hope she has better production next time. My favorite track here is I'm Fine Thanks, and my least favorite is越活越惹禍. I'm giving Serrini's Gwendolyn a 6 out of 10. So, have you listened to the latest Serrini album from my 10, which is rated like and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. The next Hong Kong album I will review would be an album from the boy band Mirror, because they have been getting really popular lately, so I guess I have to talk about them.